everybody. I want to weave them here. It is Monday night, April 24th, 2017, and exactly 1 week ago, I placed an order for this. What this is a custom Xbox One controller, and this is not it. This is the default one that came with the console. If you've watched any of my recent console videos, be it Forza Horizon 3, particularly Skylanders, Imaginators, the left analog stick, which I have a history of just having terrible luck with it, basically, even though it's idle in this position, it's almost like it's kicked up like this. And so a Skylander just goes straight to the top of the screen. In Forza, it's a situation when I'm on the map, the cursor just goes straight to the top of the screen. Back in the day with PS2, it was a pretty good controller for the time, but I had an issue, and it was typically going left. The analog stick would just kind of get locked in that position somehow. So I'm sitting there playing Madden, I've got my receiver on the line of scrimmage, and he just starts walking the line of scrimmage as if he's checking out, going to go out of bounds, sub in, something along those lines. So with the PS2, it was to the left, and now here I find with the Xbox One, it is up. For whatever reason it may be, I think in PS2 it was because I played so many, primarily what I played was racing games. This was like the golden era for street racing games. Midnight Club, Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed Underground 2. That era, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, of course, Madden. It all just led to a constant state of going to the left. And now what I found with the Xbox One is I've kind of worn through this controller, it's just going to the top. So it's particularly cumbersome in like a platformer like Skylanders. Say we were playing like Super Mario World or some sort of a platformer game that requires finesse jumping, get to the very edge of a platform and then jump type of a thing. You don't need the analog stick constantly pushing your character in a direction you don't want it to go when your hands are essentially free from the analog stick. So kind of became something I had to replace, so I started looking at controllers. I really liked, I believe it was the Dusk Shadow. I think they kind of had like, they've had several of them. The most recent one is like a pink to black fade. It wasn't really an orange to black prior to that. It was like, kind of like a coppery orange. And then the one that launched the first time, I think paired with the orange one, it was like this blue to black fade. It looked amazing. That thing is basically not in stock anywhere reputable anyway. And so it's kind of getting scalped. You could get a standard controller like this. The prices range, kind of depends how you option it, 43 up to 59-ish, somewhere in there. The kind of cool ones they've come out recently, the Ocean Blue would have been a strong contender. I think what you're typically looking at like 69. I actually really kind of like the white one. And I've seen those brand new for like as low as $44.99, something like that, $45. If I start doing a bunch of PC games that need a controller or work better with a controller, I kind of might go that direction. This controller is fine minus that, and again, that's kind of important. So what I did and the way it panned out is I was researching everything. One day I'm sitting there going through, Amazon and GameStop trying to track down the best deal. Xbox retweets the Design Lab that for the first time ever, they're having a sale. And I retweeted that. I tweeted multiple times after I placed the order. It was kind of around Easter, and then I think it ran through Monday the 17th. I ordered it super late Sunday night. And like I said, this thing arrived within the week. So it was at work this morning around like 10 o'clock. And I've not seen it yet. I've saved that excitement for here, but I do want to stress they've had the Design Lab for a while. I always thought it would kind of be like a cool Christmas present for my nephew type of a deal. Didn't really ever think of getting one myself just because it costs so much more. I think these are typically like $75, essentially like $10 more or $5 more than their like newest special editions, if you will. You can engrave it, which is awesome, and that's like an extra $10. But what they did on their sale, it was $15. So instead of this being $79, it goes down to $64. And then I did go ahead and etch it because by spending the $10, I get back up to around $75. And for a controller that I've completely customized, picked the colors out myself, and put my name on it, I don't think that's terrible. Plus, I've said it many times, I don't know what it is with this controller, but it fits my hands beautifully. Every one of them is different. Every single person will have a different reaction. The ergonomics of this thing, just the feel in your hands, I love it. It's ideal for me. Some controllers, like the Joy-Cons, my hands are much bigger than, and they're sort of like clunky and awkward because of that. With this, it fits very, very nicely. In fact, when I reviewed the Switch Pro controller, which I've got that video up if you haven't seen it, my one, that's a really, really nice controller for, you know, Nintendo to crank out. But my one complaint was that I wished it was just a little bit bigger, sort of like the Xbox One controller. So, once again, I pay for this stuff. It's not sent to me. There's no one, you know, tapping at my heels saying, hey, positively review this. This is my opinion. So if what I see in this box does not look like what I ordered, I'll be pissed off and you will be the first to know about it. I'll also monitor the life of the analog stick. It's nothing special. It's just colored differently, so I expect kind of the same wear pattern. I don't really, the hardest usage I think I put it through outside of Forza is probably in the Skylanders games, when you have to do that constantly to open a treasure chest. That's been one of my biggest complaints in the series. It sort of made sense with the Wii games like SSA and Giants, you know, it's like you gotta shake. Trying to replicate shaking by making you do that, I hate it. I would much rather just press X 3 times, or once even. Sometimes now you have to do that, jitter click your X button. The ones I hate though are that's just unnecessary wear. And again, with the PS2 days, I went through so many controllers, it was ridiculous. Sony's controllers sucked, I'll say, on the left analog stick. They were great, and then the left analog stick lifespan was worse than the third-party controllers. This is when Mad Catz was still pretty big, PDP, a couple others. In fact, the current controller configuration I have for the PS2, the only one with a functioning left analog stick is a Dallas Cowboys controller I got for a birthday one year. All the others, you're going to go straight to the left. Racing, Madden, NBA Live, whatever, just there your character or car goes. So here it is. It's kind of a long-winded intro, but I do want to say, if you're in the market for a controller, if none of the current offerings suit you, and you can't find anything at a low price, you want to do something different than black, you don't want to go all in on an Elite, this is basically half the price of an Elite. And on the Elite, you can't really pick your colors, right? You're limited to what they offer. So I thought this was kind of a nice happy medium. But this is the box. If you're like, man, did you get stark white? No. Basically what they do here is sort of like a holographic deal. You can kind of see it reflecting prism colors. My thoughts are, the reason they don't custom overlay your image is that would make the cost go up. I'm fine with this. It's a decent box. I think it's pretty much the same as a standard controller. I've only bought one extra. They just kind of highlight, you know, your buttons, D-pad, start, select. Again, I'm old school Nintendo, and of course my dreaded analog sticks. But this thing, the one complaint I do have, you can see there it says wireless controller. My one complaint, like, you order this thing and you're like, oh cool, you know, and I thought it would like ship from Seattle or Redmond or somewhere in Washington in the general vicinity. Nope. This thing came, it was a funky name, and I was like, man, is that China? And then it was, the abbreviation was CN. And I was like, well, that's got to be China, right? Again, I do a lot of freight and shipping. I don't ever deal with China directly. But I was thinking Canada is CA, and I thought, well, maybe it's like a code with it, you know, Microsoft, and this is going to be coming from like the local villager town outside of Vancouver. Nope, straight from China. And that's kind of sad, but at the same time, I mean, they got this thing with my custom configurations and engraving done basically overnight. I think I got shipment notification like Tuesday. This thing was sent to Memphis, and then boom, here it was at work this morning. So to prove to you that I have not, well, I guess it doesn't prove, you could reseal it, but right here is a little typical electronics tape dot. So we'll go ahead and cut that, and this is the big reveal. I hope it's not ugly. Oh yeah. I'll take it, man. It's fairly bright. Hear me out on this, right? So I built the computer myself. Recently got a chair, which was a huge upgrade over my antique chair, which yes, I still have because it's awesome and it's nostalgia for me. But I was kind of thinking, man, you know, like the white and the blue, the black and the blue, I kind of want to go more white than anything. I didn't want to make a total Smurf, I'll be honest. Oh, and they included batteries, those sweet people. Oh, let me, before I comment on what I just felt, let's check this out. Okay, so we got probably a stereotypical, I'm assuming. I was thinking maybe there'd be like a congratulations on designing and purchasing your own controller. Here's a certificate that most of you will throw away. Looks to just be run-of-the-mill stuff, typical FCC jargon or crud they have to incorporate. So that's that. That's the inside of the box. This is the batteries. I will take those. And let's see if they've had them. No, they're fresh too. 2026 Duracells. Very cool. Now, oh, I'm gonna like that, I think. All right, it feels, I'd say it feels lighter. I don't know if it's just the batteries or something. We'll figure it out. But this is original Xbox One stuff, way back when the console first launched. Not reimagined, not updated. You can see down here, whatever that auxiliary crud is they do on the Xbox. It's just got that funky little jack. Whereas this one has that and the 3.5 jack. This one does not. So at whatever point that they revise the controller to this is the original. So keep that in mind. That said, I went with this sort of like, I don't want to say Smurf blue. I'd prefer like more of a royal blue. And I thought it tied in well with the chair and the computer and just my general preferences. Also, I did white. I thought the white would be a really nice touch. I played around, I built several. I really liked the black and the blue too, but I thought, you know, if I'm doing this, I want something that kind of stands out and looks different. Analog sticks are blue. Oh, they feel so much better than the previous controller. You can see the charge port here. You've got your sync button, your left trigger, right trigger, your bumpers right here. All feel pretty good. D-pad, I went with blue. Basically, everything you see on here is configurable. Your D-pad, your analog sticks, your buttons of all sorts. True story, I think they offer like a white backed button, and that's obviously what I would have leaned towards doing. The problem was, I think that it offered like a black font and a silver font. I didn't really know how that would look, and when I kind of like built it and took a gander at what it, you know, generated image kind of looked like, I wasn't really that fond of it. And so even though it's not technically with the color scheme, the black with the white inlays, I just sort of liked that better. And then of course it ties in with the white. The thing I like about the white, like if we're looking at the controller here, it's all blue, right? We got black buttons and white. You bring it down, you see the bumpers and white, and then if you get it at an angle, you see down here and at the base of the controller the white again. You can, if you want pink and purple, green and yellow, whatever. If you want to make the ugliest controller, you can do it. And I will say, if you're like, man, why don't they have the engrave option? You have to actually kind of progress through to, I think, checkout. And then you see the option to add the engraving for $10. Or etching, I suppose is a better term. But I went ahead and went with one of Wisdom, and they did spell it correctly. Even though Xbox One, I can't have a 1 in front of my name for whatever reason. You have to be Wisdom on there. I just went ahead with one of Wisdom here because I thought it'd be cool. Plus, if anyone ever steals this somewhere, someone will have my name to look at and remind them of the evil acts they have committed with their life and to question the path that they've chosen to go down. I will say this, you can't see it at all, but there's like a texture to this underside, like where my index finger and traffic finger are, if you will. It's got a really good feel to it. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not like sandpaper, but it's just a light texture. Instead of being like a smooth plastic like you have on the front side, it's just enough to sort of provide a little bit of friction. It's not at all objectionable, and the extra grip I think will be kind of nice. But this is what I came up with. Let me know your thoughts, if you like it, if you hate it, if you would have done it differently. Again, the cool thing, you can actually go in and design as many of these as you want to. Don't ever have to buy them. You can share them, tweet pictures of them, whatever. I kind of did a couple of teasers. I think that was my main one. I'm interested to see if that actually illuminates kind of blue. I don't know. I kind of wish there were more options for the buttons themselves. Maybe that's something they'll add in the future. But it feels lighter, and I do like the grip. But let's go ahead and kind of bring these two in side by side. So that grips down over the top, as does this. I guess they're about the same size. Maybe the batteries just add that much weight. Not 100% sure. Nonetheless, though, if you've never played an Xbox One, be it at a friend's house, a demo, if you've never held one of their controllers, I still lean Nintendo. If I had to pick one console to play the rest of my life, it would be Nintendo, primarily because of their IPs, not necessarily innovation or anything along those lines. They are the biggest risk takers. So if I had to pick one controller, the SNES controller, the little wishbone, it's not too terrible, but in terms of just me going all out comfort, this would be my preferred controller for the rest of time. So until someone passes it and exceeds what I've experienced with this one, that's how I will stay. But again, you can't see the texture, especially since I did white, but like this is just a smooth plastic, the same as the front. And here on the back side, it's just got enough to sort of give you that extra grip. But I don't know if this was full price. It's not that much more than we paid realistically. But I don't know, man. $75 plus the etching for $85 for one controller, I would not be a huge fan of. If these come up for sale again with $15 or $20 or $25 off, I might go in and pick up another one and do something slightly different for the design. I do think these would make great gifts, is kind of the big thing. Whether it's, your husband, your boyfriend, your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your girlfriend, if you've got a really cool girlfriend that's into gaming, your wife, if she's like a hardcore Halo person or something. This is something that Nintendo and Sony, to my knowledge, don't offer. There are third-party options where you can kind of come in and do some of this stuff, but they're actually pretty expensive too. And I believe this comes in under budget compared to those. Could be mistaken, might not know all the ins and outs of it, but for being a first-party Microsoft-offered service, I've got to say this is pretty freaking cool. If this was something Nintendo would do, I would be so happy. I think everyone would be happy. With the price of the Joy-Cons, I'm not quite sure why they don't consider that, right? I mean, $80. If I could get like a slightly larger Joy-Con in the color of my choice, I'd be a pretty happy man, I'll tell you that much. But their Pro Controller is pretty good, but imagine, if you will, being able to come in, and if you wanted, and Nintendo has done pretty cool Wiimotes in the past, your character series, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Bowser, Yoshi, so on and so forth. When they launched the latest Brawl game, they kind of came in Smash Bros. Style, did the N64 throwback stuff. They could offer something along those lines. And I mean, I don't know of many people, at least I know, that are hardcore Nintendo fans, and all of them are, that wouldn't go in, and if they were faced with paying $69 for the Pro Controller, or shelling out $20 to get their name, or Waluigi, or Tanuki Suit Mario, or Cat Suit Peach, or something that they could just, it's generic for Nintendo, but you can configure it yourself to your liking with your name. I don't know anyone that wouldn't expend the extra $20. That's just me. But again, with the $15 off on this, we basically got the price down to $65, which is pretty much what I would have paid for like the Ocean. That's a Microsoft design one, which actually looks pretty cool. And it's kind of like this, just all blue. And then I've noticed Microsoft controllers get like button colors and schemes that aren't available in the design lab, which is kind of a downfall. Again, if I had one complaint, it would be to offer the same matching colors in the buttons. I'm sure they have good reason for not doing it. I don't know what it is, so I can't relay that to you. That would be my biggest complaint. The price, I think, is actually fair, even at full price, when you think you picked this entire thing out. If this was fuchsia, yellow, the analog stick was orange and purple, if you want to make a total circus freak, you can do it. And that does carry some weight financially with it, Same thing with adding your name. It's a minor deal, but it's pretty dadgum cool. I'd say that's worth the $10 to me. I don't know, some people might differ. But would I love to see Nintendo offer this same service? Yes. Do I think Sony people would come in, and when you burn through your left analog stick, if you had an option of buying another Sony controller for $75 or getting a custom one with your choice of colors and your name for $80 to $90, I think a lot of people would be inclined to do that. Again, for me, the sale happened at an ideal time, or else I'd probably have like the lowest priced white controller I could have gotten. I think it's pretty cool. I'll be happy with it, primarily just because of the left analog stick. It's something that I was going to have to replace, and you know, comparing apples to apples here pretty much, I don't know. This one's got a lot more character. You might love it, you might hate it, but you got to admit it's got more character. Biggest complaint, again, I wish they had the buttons. Maybe if they would do more frequent sales, maybe like even quarterly, just know that, hey, you know, every 3 months there's a chance. If you don't have the funds, if your controller's not quite totally shot just yet, but you know it's coming, and you think, oh, I missed the sale, just knowing that, hey, you know, sometime in the summer they're gonna take $15 off, and then hey, sometime around Halloween in the fall, $15. Christmas season, I can order in a controller at a discounted price. I think that would be a nice nod, but hey, I got in on the first ever sale they had. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll throw the batteries in. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. It does have the Xbox logo there. I don't know if I mentioned that. Nothing too crazy right there. Wireless controller for Xbox One. That's it, man. I don't think the batteries are going to add that much weight. They don't. I do believe, for whatever reason, this is significantly lighter. That's probably not a huge deal, but I mean, a couple of ounces, you know, it might, if that seemed cumbersome to you, an original Xbone controller, that would be another perk of the more recently revised one. So if you started life on the Xbox with one of these controllers with a jack, it'll probably be the same. But again, as you can see on mine, it did not have that. You had to have that weird plug-in thing. And it's significantly heavier than this one, so that's another perk, I suppose. But hey, any questions you've got regarding the look and the feel, the performance, the function, I plan to test this thing out tonight. If it doesn't hook up, if it doesn't sync, if the left analog stick has my character going straight to the top like this one does, I will be pissed. You will know about it. I'll have in the comments on the video, add it to the description, and tweet about it too. And see if Microsoft will send a controller to remedy this situation. I don't envision that happening. I figure I'll be pretty happy with it. Hopefully we get slightly better life than we did with that controller. That one also, I guess, was put through quite a bit with Minecraft. For quite, I guess, a couple hundred episodes of solo survival, a couple hundred episodes of dual survival, and a whole bunch of PvP battles. So I guess it's had a pretty good life cycle. But hopefully this one performs slightly better. Always like to see improvements, but I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with what I did here. Save some money along the way, have something unique, and again, dare anyone steal this, my name will be facing you every time you play the game. Not that criminals or people that steal controllers worry about that, but hey, it's peace of mind, I suppose. So nonetheless, Xbox Design Lab is where I picked this thing up. If you follow me on Twitter and they do these sales, I'll always retweet them because I think it's a pretty cool process. But oneofweezem.com, I'll have some pictures of this thing in addition to the video there. I'll probably tweet a few as well. You can like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Follow me on Twitch. Speaking of Microsoft, follow me on Beam. I might start streaming Minecraft PC stuff on Beam. I have so much I do off camera, and it kind of is the reason there's huge lulls between episodes sometimes. Batteries died. The air conditioner also turned off, but might start streaming some Minecraft PC on Beam. So make sure you're following me on both Twitch and Beam. As always, you can follow me on Twitter regardless of where I stream. I will always tweet before I go live. And that's it. If you've got any questions that aren't like generically obvious, that you sort of want first-hand info on before you commit the money to something like this, if I can help you out, I will do my best to do so. But like I said, this is sort of subjective. Some people will love the color scheme, others will hate it. But the cool thing is, with the Design Lab, you can totally tailor it to your personal preferences. And that's the coolest part. So again, hopefully Nintendo does something like this. That would be just be insanely cool. But that said, hopefully this helps you out, kind of showcases you what the Design Lab is capable of, gives you a feel for what they offer. But like I said, I think these would make really cool gifts that you can't really go wrong with, in my opinion. But that said, thanks so much for watching. I will catch you back here for more action from the pool table.